I'm still in psychotic depression, and it might be a little difficult for me to film this video, but I wanted to give you guys an update because that's kind of what I do here. So if I kind of zone out, have issues, need to say things again, just know that it's literally the disorder disordering and that I'm doing my best. Not that I'm worried, but I'm doing my best. So the first thing I want to talk about is where I'm at, psychosis, mood, and cognitive symptom-wise. So in terms of psychosis, the sardine people, aka the shadowy figures that have been quote-unquote haunting me for the last few weeks, they're finally gone, which is nice. I haven't seen them in several days now, and I am super glad about that, because when they popped up, I would be in distress, I would be noticeably different. It was very hard for me to go about my life with them. Like, for example, I met with my boss to kind of update him on my whole episode mental health situation, and there was one behind him in the corner of his office, and it took everything in me not to just stare at it. I did end up glancing at it once and then glancing back at my boss. I don't think he noticed anything, but it was definitely a nervous situation, and I wasn't exactly explaining to him the psychotic side of the condition. It was more the mood side, so that was it was interesting that the psychosis was there to remind me that it was a thing, I guess, or something. Not that the sardine people have a motivation of any kind. They just kind of stand there and look at me and, as we all know, sometimes touch me. But they haven't touched me. They haven't been around in days. I'm really grateful for that, because I was horrible. That was really bad. And I can't talk about psychosis without talking about the voices. I am still hearing voices. I am hearing negative voices. They're not that great. And I don't like them. And I still have the ones that I do like popping up, but the mean ones that show up really only when I'm depressed. Not every time I'm depressed, but when I'm depressed, these show up, and they've just been saying mean things to me and awful things to me, and I just have to deal with it. And it's very hard to ignore something when it's almost like a thought in your own head, like inner headspaces thoughts. They're not like thoughts. They are like voices. They're just internal, right? Yeah, so the voices, the voices they're still there. And normally, as many of you know, I get fleeting comments throughout the day and a conversation about once a week right now, but since I'm in an episode, I'm hallucinating multiple times a day. I don't even know how many. I lose count because it just happens so much. And that's easier to deal with. That's easier to kind of hide, if that makes sense. Like, I can work through the voices. It's hard for me to work with the shadowy sardine people. I learned that very well. But I do want to say the samples that I was processing, those very important, precious samples, it was successful, what we were doing with them. So I did it. And I'm really proud of myself for doing it, despite everything. Despite psychosis and depression and hypomania and all that stuff. I managed to show up and do my job. So I was really happy about that. But that's really where I'm at psychosis-wise, and I'm okay with that. It's actually way more manageable now than it was last week, and I'm super glad of that. Gotta remember what I was gonna say next. Moods, yes. Okay, so I'm still in psychotic depression, right? But I think in the last video, I mentioned how I might have some dysphoric aspects to it, where there might be some mixed state aspect to it. And I kind of talked about the irritability being potentially a part of that, maybe. And if I didn't, the irritability was a part of that theory, I believe. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time with my memory, which is the next topic. But yeah, and so I'm in psychotic depression, but the depression is full depression now. There's not really any mixed aspects to it. It's just kind of there. And I'm grateful for that, because the mixed aspect is what made me cry over my samples a few weeks ago. It's what made me really be quite irritable. Like in the last video, I talked about being irritable. And I just kind of am a little bit relieved that it's just depression. I do get a little irritable every now and then, but it's more of a internal irritability that doesn't translate to external action. So usually when I get irritable now, at this point in the episode, I kind of just deal with it internally and continue what I'm doing. I don't have to worry about like leaving the room or walking away from something or trying my best not to talk to anybody about what's going on if I'm irritable with them. So I don't have to worry about any of that, thank goodness, because that was very annoying, frankly, to be irrationally irritable at people or situations or things like gloves. So I still do get mad at my gloves when they don't go on my hand, but it's not nearly as overblown as it was last time I talked. In addition to that, the depression is also not as bad as it was last time. And if you're not getting the picture now, it's kind of pretty obvious that I'm getting better. Like, I'm genuinely getting better. I'm sure you can tell by me talking to the camera that I'm doing a lot better. And so that's a good thing. And I still have everything being a little bit harder than it should be. It's hard to get out of bed. It's still hard to go to work and have the motivation to do things, but it's easier for me to break through the wall of depression and actually do the things that I have to do. It's still there. I still feel it. It's very, very difficult because I have a lot of things to do before Otakon pops up, which is next weekend. And hopefully I can get them all done. But for a while, all I was doing was waking up, going to work, working on the channel, or trying to keep up with the other socials associated with the Schizokitzo project, and then going to sleep. And the main reason I kept up with the Schizokitzo project is because it matters a lot to me. It matters a ton to me, and it kind of keeps me going. So that's why I was still doing it when I was really deep in depression. Like, it brings me so much joy. So fortunately, the depressive state is getting better. I'm still depressed, but it's getting better, which is good. It's really, really good. Unfortunately, the cognitive side of things is not so great. I theorize that my psychosis and my hypomania and potentially any of the other stuff that happens in the brain when someone's going through an episode has affected my memory a bit, affected my ability to recall information, my ability to understand time in a way. And that's a video I should make another time, is talking about my issues with time and how I'm pretty sure they're because I'm schizoaffective. But I've had a lot of issues with people telling me stuff I have to do and then me forgetting it. And normally that's not a big deal because I do remember it eventually. But in this case, I was told to do some things and then I didn't do them. And I totally forgot entirely. And so, and it's not like, oh, I remember I did that. It's like there's this cloudiness in my brain that doesn't always realize, oh, that was real. Okay, that's a real thing that happened. Because I have this kind of fog over it, like this fog over the memory that kind of makes it hard for me to grab it and bring it to the forefront, if that makes sense. And it's been okay. I've been putting things in my phone as much as I possibly can, but sometimes things slip through the cracks, and that happened. It's also hard for me to necessarily like, weird words, to hold a long conversation, if that makes sense. Like, it's hard for me to stay focused for long periods of time. Like, if I have to talk to a coworker, my brain gets tired pretty quickly and it's hard for me to concentrate. And so I'm not sure how that'll play out in the long term. I know cognitive issues are a problem for people with schizophrenia spectrum disorders. I mean, That's kind of obvious if you watch my videos. But it's not good. But that's really the basics of the psychosis, the mood, and the cognitive aspects of this episode. And I'm okay with where things are now. I'm okay with the fact that this is what starting to get better looks like. I'm okay that this is what it looks like to get out of it. And I really hope I'm out of it by the time Otakon rolls around, because I want to be able to go to the convention with my friends, have a good time, cosplay, and just maybe put this whole episode, this whole thing, all of the stress I've had at work, at home with my episode and everything, and just put it behind me. Just absolutely just put it behind me and move on, you know? Like that just sounds awesome. So, but I do want to say a few things to you guys. First off, my 30th birthday happened on Wednesday, and I was absolutely thrilled that I posted about it, and I talked about how I was sad and how my disorder had basically ruined it for me, and it was supposed to be a big day, but I just didn't want to do anything except lie in my bed with Madam B and watch Evangelion. And while that is what I ended up doing, sitting in bed watching Evangelion with Madam B, I also got a bunch of comments from you guys, like hundreds. And I did not expect that. Having all of you guys wish me a happy birthday and then tell me stories about how your birthday might not have been good, or how birthdays are hard, or how it's okay for me to do what I did in terms of not celebrating. And all of that was just really heartwarming and made me actually feel good. It made my day better. And I'm really grateful to that. So to everyone who commented on that community post, thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, and Madam B's. She's off camera, but she's directing. Madam B's, thank you. Really. I think the Hive is an amazing little community that's been built here, and I'm really glad that all of you are here. Yeah, it means a lot. But I will say the day wasn't too bad. My dad and I worked on the staff from Frieren Beyond Journey's End for Fern, and we glued together most of the pieces. I just have to do one more big glue to get it all together, and then I just have to finish it, hopefully, because I have to have it ready by Otakon. And then my mother brought me a cookie cake that said "Happy Birthday Kit" from the bees on it. So the bees gave me a cookie cake, and so I was able to have a cookie cake on my 30th birthday, and that was really sweet of the bees and my mom to do. And yeah, I'm just floored by you guys. You're amazing, and I hope the best for you to have a good weekend and a good day and a good morning and a good night whenever you're watching this video. Just have a good time. And really, that's kind of all I have to say. I am going to keep trying to get better. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep taking my medication, going to therapy, practicing my DBT skills. I've been using PLEASE a lot, which is like a acronym for self-care. And I'm just going to keep going and just do what I do best, which is move forward, because I, like you, have a 100% survival rate of making it through bad days. So yeah. And that's where I'll leave you. So if you want to see more content from me, check out the video on Madam B's head for more. Other than that, thanks so much for joining me and making the uncomfortable comfortable. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.